Good afternoon. I will now convene the afternoon session of the regular meeting of the Board of Lane County Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, July 30, 2024. Welcome back, or welcome to those of you who weren't with us this morning and to anyone watching online. We have a suite of public works items before us this afternoon, and so I will begin by calling up for the first item, which is a second reading and public hearing on Ordinance 24-06 on a code amendment. I will welcome our Parks Division Manager, Brett Henry, and our representative from the Office of County Counsel, Emily Vario, to the table. I don't know if our administrator is teeing this item up or we're just going right to staff.
Brett is gonna take it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome. Then I will turn it over to staff to introduce the item and make their presentation, which is scheduled to be relatively brief. And, oh, no, wait, sorry, I do have a script. That's why I was asking if Emily was here. I have two items in front of me, so give me just a moment to synthesize them. Because, Mr. Henry, it might be that we're holding off for just a minute on your presentation. I got some late amended scripts. So give me just a minute here. Okay, so this item is consideration of ordinance number 24-06 in the matter of amending Lane Code Chapter 2 to adopt immunity from liability arising from use of trails or structures in a public easement or unimproved right-of-way and declaring an emergency. And this references Lane Code 2.060.010. This item is a first reading of a draft ordinance. Oh, no, this is not. That's why that's wrong. Pardon me. This is the second reading and hearing. Today is July 30, 2024. It is 1:30 p.m. This is a public hearing. The order of proceedings for this hearing will be first a report from staff, followed by any public testimony, and then any additional comments by staff if needed. So I, at this time, don't have anyone signed up on this item, so I will turn it over to staff, but then I will give one more chance for any latecomers who wish to sign up to give public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll go ahead and start. Hello, for the public record, my name is Brett Henry. I'm the Parks Manager with Lane County, and with me again is Emily Vario. She's the Assistant County Counsel. For our staff report, I have a brief presentation that will provide some background information on recreational immunity. So what is recreational immunity? So recreational immunity is a state law that provides protection to property owners who open their lands for public recreation. This immunity affords a level of legal protection if an individual recreating on the property seeks damages after an unfortunate injury. This individual who chooses to recreate accepts the inherent risk of injury when deciding to enter the property. Without recreational immunity, landowners often must make difficult choices whether to close off their lands to public recreation and risk injury claims and increases in those claims. So kind of looking at the background of recreational immunity and to provide some context, ORS 105682 is Oregon's recreational immunity statute. It was passed by the state legislature in 1971, and at that time immunity was limited to agricultural, forest, and ocean shore lands. In 2004, the law was expanded to all public and private lands, which include public parks. Recently, in the Fields versus Newport court case, there was an individual who filed a lawsuit against the city of Newport after slipping on a footbridge that was on a trail accessing a beach. The trial court sided with the city, ruling that recreational immunity afforded the landowner protection from the lawsuit. However, the plaintiff appealed the ruling, arguing that the user's principal purpose wasn't recreational. And in 2023, the Oregon Supreme Court declined to review the case, which effectively weakened recreational immunity, especially along trails leading to recreational areas. So why are we here before the board today? Consequently, afterwards, some local governments closed off their trails to public access. And so working with organizations like the Oregon Recreation and Park Association and other organizations, the state legislature passed Senate Bill 1576 in the 2024 legislative session this past March. And this bill is an emergency legislative fix, and it must be noted that, and it further defines walking, biking, and running to the list of recreational purposes on trails. Also of note, this is a temporary legislative fix since the bill effectively expires January of 2026. So, we're before you today after looking at the new Senate bill that was passed. The county believes that it's in our best interest to adopt the proposed ordinance, which provides additional protection from ordinary negligent claims. Today you heard the second reading, and we are recommending that the board adopt Ordinance 24-06, which effectively amends Lane County Chapter 2. This amendment clearly defines recreation to include walking, running, and bicycling to unimproved trails or structures in a public easement or unimproved right-of-way. I sincerely want to thank the board for consideration of this proposed ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Before I ask County Counsel if she wishes to add anything, I will just note that I went a little out of order on our script, and my apologies. I had a couple of different copies in front of me and mixed the two. So I should have, prior to the staff report, called for any disclosures of any commissioners who wish to abstain due to any conflict of interest or bias. So I will do that now, after which I will call for if there are any challenges to board declarations, and then I will check back in with staff to see if there's any further information to provide report or to get advice from County Counsel should anything come up in this next section, because we're out of order. And so again, my apologies, but with that, I will call for any disclosure of conflict of interest or biases from commissioners. Commissioner Senega?
I have none.
Commissioner Buck?
None.
Commissioner Farr?
I have none.
Vice Chair Lovall?
None.
And I, Lori Trieger, have none to declare. Are there any challenges to the board's qualifications to hear this ordinance? Seeing none, we'll resume staff report. I'm not sure if that was the conclusion or if there's anything from the Office of County Counsel to add to the staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Unless there are any questions, I don't have any additional information to add to the report, but I am available for questions.
Thank you. Then we are at the portion of this hearing where we allow for public testimony. There was an opportunity for folks to sign up. Did anyone come in late who wishes to provide testimony on this ordinance before the board? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to the board for any discussion, questions for staff, or potential action on this ordinance. To the board. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I just have one quick question, and you said this was a temporary fix that expires in January of 26. So obviously someone's working on something else, or we could be back here in another year doing this same emergency kind of fix. Is that what I'm understanding as well, correct?
Yeah. We very well could be talking about this some more as we come up to the next legislative session.
Okay, great. Just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, and for anyone watching, and Vice Chair, in this morning's session, we adopted our legislative principles and priorities, and it is on the radar for our legislative team to be working through the full session that convenes in January of next calendar year to address this. This is something that the Association of Oregon Counties is watching closely. This is not just a Lane County matter. Commissioner Farr.
Thank you. Not exactly toward the ordinance, but Lane County parks in general and the safety in Lane County parks. I'm an habitual user of Lane County parks almost daily. I love them dearly. Last week we were at Richardson, and there was a woman who was clearly having a crisis, and she was creating quite a stir. And one of our employees, his name is True. Write that down, True. He took her blackberries, a drink of water, talked to her, brought her down to a very calm level until assistance came. I just want to call out True, Lane County Parks in general, Lane County staff. On that particular day, True was I want you to write his name down, and if you can pat him on the back.
Yeah, it's
Get a
been hard
chance
to
to do
forget
that.
his name, but he's an outstanding caretaker for us over
Yeah.
Richardson. Yeah, and we certainly have spoken with Drew and really thanked him for calming that lady down.
You know about the incident then. I happened to be there when it was happening. And, I love catching people doing wonderful things, and I caught somebody doing a wonderful thing that day. Thank you.
Seeing nothing else from the board, is there someone who would like to make a motion?
True. See, now you got it on my mind. Chair, I'm ready to make a motion. I move to approve ordinance number 2406 in the matter of amending Lane Code, Chapter 2, to adopt immunity from liability arising from the use of trails or structures in a public easement or unimproved right-of-way and declaring an emergency as presented.
Is there a second? Thank you. It's been moved by Vice Chair, seconded by Commissioner Buck. Is there any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye.
It's an ordinance.
Excuse me, it's an ordinance. I will look to the administrator for a roll call. Thank you all.
The roll call, and just to be, because we haven't done this in a little while, the order of the roll call is typically by seniority, with the chair going last. So Commissioner Senega,
Yay.
Commissioner Lovall,
Yay.
Commissioner Buck,
Aye.
Commissioner Farr,
Yes.
and Commissioner Trieger.
Trigger votes yes. Thank you. Motion carries 5-0 for real.
I should have said,
Adoption of ordinance 24-06 in the matter of amending Lane Code Chapter 2 to adopt immunity from liability arising from use of trails or structures in a public easement or unimproved right-of-way and declaring an emergency. This is Lane Code 2.060.010. Thank you so much to staff. Our next item is a second reading and public hearing amending Lane Code. And I will welcome our Senior Transportation Planner, Becky Taylor, to the table, and I do have your updated copy here in front of me. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Trieger, Vice Chair Lovell, Commissioners. Again, I'm Becky Taylor. I'm a Senior Transportation Planner with Lane County. Chair Trieger, thank you for your grace on the last-minute script change. You're hearing me okay?
A little better,
All right.
thank you.
So I'll defer to you back to the script.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So this item is a second reading and public hearing of a draft ordinance number 24-05 in the matter of amending Lane Code Chapter 15 to modernize and update certain practices. This is a public hearing. Today's date is July 30th, 2024. The order of proceedings for this hearing will be first the report from staff, followed by public testimony, and then additional comments by staff. First, I will call for disclosures of any commissioner abstentions due to conflicts of interest or biases. Commissioner Senega.
None.
Commissioner Buck.
None.
Commissioner Farr.
none.
Vice Chair Lovell.
None.
And myself, Laurie Trieger, I declare none. Are there any challenges to the board's qualifications to hear this matter? Seeing none, I will now turn it back over to you for a staff report.
Thank you, Commissioners. So Lane Code Chapter 15, Roads, establishes requirements to implement Lane County's transportation policies and to protect our transportation infrastructure. This is a staff-initiated amendment to renumber Chapter 15 for consistency with other chapters. The renumbering effort required merging and moving a variety of sections, which are detailed on page 3 of the agenda cover memo. Staff also took this opportunity to add definitions to existing code terms and edits to improve readability and grammar. We intentionally limited the scope to amendments to modernization. So to be clear, there are no new regulations or policy changes proposed in this amendment package. And that concludes my staff report.
Thank you. I have no one signed up to provide public comment, but I'll give one more opportunity. Did anybody wish to present testimony on Ordinance 24-05 amending Lane Code? Tanya, anyone online?
I do not see anyone signed up for this ordinance for public hearing.
Thank you. In that case, I will close the public hearing. Sorry, because you just gave this to me, I'm seeing here the second reading. Just wanting to make sure I'm understanding how or if this is different, Ms. Taylor, from... It looks the same to me, the new script that you provided. So this is the second reading of ordinance 24-05 in the matter of amending Lane Code Chapter 15 to modernize and update certain practices.
Thank you, Chair. That's correct. And I also want to acknowledge County Counsel Tiffany Johnston is joining us online. She wanted to make sure that your script was procedurally accurate because this is mainly a procedural amendment. So again, thank you for your grace on that. And I'll just also add that I'm not surprised that there isn't public comment on this. Again, this is a very minor amendment package with the intent that, the last time I was before the board with a change, it was around Blue River setbacks. That's the type of amendment where we have really intentional public involvement, and we want the code to be really clear about what's being changed. And so it's been a while since we've amended the code, and we didn't want to wait to renumber everything because it just would make it really difficult for the community to understand what was actually being changed. So this is really just a cleanup package, and hopefully you all have confidence in what's before you today.
So we have an ordinance before us. Any discussion from the board before we move to potential action on this ordinance? Commissioner Farr.
Thank you, Chair Trigger. And just the last thing you said, you hope we have confidence in what's before us today.
Well, I know there could be a public perception of there's this ordinance and you call for a public hearing and no one comments and then you just approve, like just rubber stamping it. But again, there's no regulatory changes. I know when I've been before you before with changes to Chapter 15, we've had regulatory changes and we've had public involvement. And the reason why we're having very distinct packages like this of cleaning up the code versus regulatory changes so that we don't mix the two because it makes it more complex for the public to understand the regulatory changes.
I understand. And the reason I call that out, Ms. Mokrajewski, is because Becky Taylor instills confidence with the things you bring before us every time you do. So it's a matter of course that confidence comes along with you. And I will state this, in 2019, Becky Taylor was in fact the region's Public Employee of the Year. Thank you.
That, Commissioner.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion before we take action on this ordinance? All right. Is there a motion?
Chair, I'm ready for a motion. I move to approve ordinance number 2405 in the matter of amending Lane Code Chapter 15, modernize and update certain practices according to LC 15 as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Vice Chair and seconded by Commissioner Buck. Is there any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, I will move to, again, a roll call vote, as this is an ordinance, to the Administrator.
Commissioner Senega?
Yes.
Commissioner Lovall?
Aye.
Commissioner Buck?
Aye.
Commissioner Farr?
Yes.
And Commissioner Trigger?
Trigger votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Commissioners.
And now we have a companion set of ordinances before us. This is a third reading on ordinance number PA 1392 in the matter of adopting Willamette Lane Park and Recreation District's 2023 Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan as the recreation element of the Springfield Comprehensive Plan, removing and replacing the 2012 Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan, adopting Type 2 text amendments to the Eugene-Springfield Metropolitan Area General Plan, adopting the Willamette Lane Park and Recreation District's Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan as a special purpose plan of the Lane County Rural Comprehensive Plan, and adopting a saving clause, severability clause, and providing an effective date. And this is County File number 509-PA24-05048 and City Case number 811-23-000-285-TYP4. And we're presenting these together, so we are also considering Ordinance 2403 in the same presentation, yes? In the matter of amending Lane Code 16.4004B in order to adopt the Willamette Lane Park and Recreation District's Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan as a special purpose plan of the Lane County Rural Comprehensive Plan. And I'll welcome our senior planner, Jared Bowder, and guests from the city of Springfield and Willamette Lane, and several of you also here in the audience. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Hello, Commissioners. And again, for the record, I'm Jared Bowder with Lane County Planning. And I'd like to start by quickly recognizing, in no specific order, a few of the important players in this effort. Those being William Lane's Executive Director, Michael Wargo, William Lane's Board President, Greg James, William Lane's Project Manager, Christina Bowe, and their consultant, Colin MacArthur, from Cameron McCarthy Landscape Architecture and Planning, and Monica Souther, the City of Springfield Project Manager. And today's third reading is the culmination of a robust community planning process, and the board's being asked to act on the William Lane Park and Recreation District's 2023 Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan through ordinances PA 1392 and 2403. Ordinance number PA 1392 includes amendments to the Metro Plan and the Springfield Comprehensive Plan, and Ordinance 2403 amends the county's Rural Comprehensive Plan and Lane Code Chapter 16.400 to incorporate William Lane Park and Recreation's Comprehensive Plan as a special purpose plan in the county's RCP. The 2023 plan is proposed to be adopted as the recreation element of Springfield's comprehensive plan, and the only two park facilities outside of the urban growth boundary of county significance are the Thurston Hills Natural Area and Harvest Landing Boat Ramp. At the June 10th, 2024 second reading and joint public hearing, no comments were received from the public and no changes were made to the proposed plan by the board or city council. On July 1st, 2024, the Springfield City Council unanimously adopted the 2023 plan, ordinance number 6484, via their consent calendar. And I'll conclude by stating that staff is recommending motion option 1 from the memorandum for today's meeting, that the board approve ordinance numbers PA 1392 and 2403 as presented. Thank you.
Thank you. Did City of Springfield want to add anything? We're just here for questions.
Appreciate the opportunity, but Jared captured things well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Then I will turn it over to the board if there are any questions or comments from the board. Vice Chair.
Always get an opportunity to brag about Springfield. I knew Bob Kiefer for a lot of years, and when he retired, it was everybody's gasp in the community that maybe that bar would never be reached. And I want to tell you, Mike and Greg and Eric, you guys have raised the bar of Willamette Lane, and you continue to raise the bar. So even though Bob's got his name on the building, you guys are still doing excellent work and doing things for the city of Springfield, which I love and dearly want to commit my service to, because you guys are doing a bang-up job. And I just so appreciate what you're doing, the expansive services that you're offering, the sheltering of the event and emergency centers, and all the other things that you're planning for the future are super exciting. So good on y'all. Thank you.
Anything else? I am getting a message from County Council. Excuse me just a minute to be sure. We don't need to do disclosures, but we could call for those. Just a moment. Please hold. Technology. I'm having challenges loading my iPad. Here we go. Yes, okay. I will call for conflicts of interest or biases before we ask for a motion and consider a vote on this order. So if any commissioner wishes to declare a potential or actual conflict of interest or bias before we hear this item for a vote, please state it now. Commissioner Senega?
None.
Commissioner Buck?
None.
Commissioner Farr?
No.
Vice Chair?
None.
And I, Lori Trieger, have none to declare. Is there anyone who wants to challenge the board's ability to hear this matter? Seeing none. We are now back to whether there are any other questions for staff, comments from the board before considering an action. Seeing none. Ready with a motion?
Ready for a motion? Chair, I'd like to move to approve ordinance 24-05 never mind. I'm going to do another one. Chair, I'd like to move to approve ordinance PA 1392 and ordinance number 24-03 as presented.
We'll do them separately.
We're
Individually?
doing them separately?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to
individual
retract my
ordinances.
motion and do it third time. Third's the charm. Chair, I'd like to move to approve ordinance PA 1392 as presented.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Vice Chair and seconded by Commissioner Buck. And giving the administrator a workout this afternoon. Another roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Seneca.
Yay.
Commissioner Lovall.
Yay.
Commissioner Buck.
Aye.
Commissioner Farr.
Yes.
And Commissioner Trieger.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of ordinance PA 1392 in the matter of adopting Willamette Lane Park and Recreation District's 2023 Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan as the recreation element of the Springfield Comprehensive Plan, removing and replacing the 2012 Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan, etc., as published on our agenda. Thank you. And to ordinance 24-03 now.
Chair, I'd like to move to approve ordinance number 24-03 as presented, please.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved by the Vice Chair and seconded by Commissioner Buck, Administrator.
Commissioner Seneca.
Yes.
Commissioner Lovall.
Aye.
Commissioner Buck.
Aye.
Commissioner Farr.
Yes.
And Commissioner Trieger.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of ordinance 24-03 in the matter of amending Lane Code 16.400 in order to adopt the Willamette Lane Park and Recreation District's Park and Recreation Comprehensive Plan as a special purpose plan of the Lane County Rural Comprehensive Plan. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. These are the kinds of things that we do where this is one of those great examples of government moves very slowly until it doesn't. Right? This has been work that's been in the works for a long time, lots of procedure, lots and lots of work on the part of staff across multiple jurisdictions. So thank you all for your perseverance and your diligence in these items. It is very much appreciated. And we got to just take that vote, and it seems like it just happened like that, but it really didn't. It's been a long time and a lot of work, so thank you all for that. We have one more item on our Public Works agenda, and Mr. Bowder is staying at the table for this item. Thank you all so much. This is a third reading and another ordinance, number 24-04, in the matter of amending Lane Code, Chapter 10.600 to co-adopt amendments to incorporate changes in state law and modernize the Springfield Development Code for the urbanizing area between the city limits and urban growth boundary of the city of Springfield, and adopting a savings and severability clause. We have a brief staff report on this item.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, Commissioners. Again, I'm Jared Bowder, the County Planner and Project Manager for this round of Springfield Development Code amendments focused on housing opportunities in non-residential areas. This is a third reading and deliberations for ordinance number 2404, and that ordinance includes amendments to Lane Code Chapter 10 to incorporate by reference the amendments that have been made to the Springfield Development Code. This project's a continuation of work that's been ongoing since 2018, involving a phased plan to update the entire Springfield Development Code, and updating the Development Code to support efficient, timely, and clear development review is part of Springfield's housing strategy. This work would amend income-qualified housing related to code sections from bills that were passed by the 2023 Oregon Legislature. The city's also using this opportunity to make other changes to the code for clarity and ease of use. At the June 10th, 2024 second reading and joint public hearing, no comments were received from the public and no changes were made to the draft code amendments by the board or city council. On July 1st, 2024, the Springfield City Council adopted the proposed amendments via Ordinance 6482 on their consent calendar, and I'll conclude by stating that staff is recommending motion option 1 from the memorandum for today's meeting, that the board move to approve ordinance number 2404 as presented. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I am being told by County Council, since this is an ordinance, to do another round of disclosures or potential biases or conflicts of interest. So I will call for those from the board. Commissioner Seneca? None. Commissioner Buck?
None.
Commissioner Farr?
No.
Vice Chair Lovall?
None.
And Chair Lori Trieger has none to declare. And so if there are no further questions or comments from staff, I will look for a motion.
Chair, I'd like to move to approve ordinance number 2404 as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved by the Vice Chair and seconded by Commissioner Buck to approve ordinance number 24-04. And one more time with a roll call vote.
Commissioner Senega.
Yes.
Commissioner Lovall.
Aye.
Commissioner Buck.
Aye.
Commissioner Farr.
Yes.
Commissioner Trieger.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of ordinance number 24-04 in the matter of amending Lane Code, Chapter 10.600, to co-adopt amendments to incorporate changes in state law and modernize the Springfield Development Code for the urbanizing area between the city limits and urban growth boundary of the city of Springfield and adopting a savings and severability clause with the attendant local file numbers as published. Thank you, Mr. Bowder, for your presentations this afternoon.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners.
Those are all of the items on our agenda for this afternoon from staff, and now we move into Commissioners' business. I do have one item, but first I will look to the board. Are there any announcements? Commissioner Farr?
Not exactly an announcement. Well, it is, yeah. We just had 15 votes, every one of which passed 5-0. So we have a unanimous Board of County Commissioners throughout the entire day today. The second thing I'll mention is something that Mr. Rickoff spoke about this morning. Yesterday I did attend the meeting of the Charter Review Committee, and we talked a little bit about the extra time they're putting in this week and these 2 weeks to get prepared for an August 6th board meeting. But I just wanted to mention Chairman Rowe, how remarkable of a job Chairman Rowe does with a diverse committee, and it was split between people in person and online yesterday, and actually did a really good job of guiding through a pretty heavy agenda. I was very impressed with the entire process. As the Charter Review Committee met for 2 hours yesterday, they have 2 more meetings coming up, and the process that they're going through is very deliberative and very inclusive of conversation among the entire group. So I just wanted to pass that along, Mr. Mulcahy.
Any other announcements from the board? Commissioner Buck?
I have one, just a reminder if you haven't heard, Homes for Good is having a demo day at their Bridges on Broadway tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. This was a building that we were able to acquire for wildfire survivors, and once they were rehoused permanently, it is now going to be redeveloped for permanent supportive housing. And so this is kind of the groundbreaking, I guess, if it weren't already an existing building. But this is the time to renovate for permanent supportive housing, so I welcome anybody who'd like to join.
Is this a place where you can bring your own sledgehammer, or that's not invited? You said demo day, and am I instantly into a sledgehammer?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Provided for you.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And I have one announcement, which is this Friday, Senator Jeff Merkley will be in Eugene doing a town hall. This will be from 2 to 3 p.m. in the gymnasium at the ATA school, which is on West 22nd Avenue, 1650 West 22nd Avenue, the Arts and Technology Academy. The senator does a town hall in every county in Oregon every year, so this is Lane County's turn, and we're excited to host him, and I encourage everyone to come and attend and hear what's happening at the federal level in service to Lane County and Oregon. Are there any future board assignment requests? Seeing none, I have just one item. As folks probably know, we have a couple of openings on our planning commission, and as is typical when that happens, we like to have 2 commissioners make up a review of the applicants and then interview team to help staff sort through our community members wishing to serve on our planning commission. Historically and generally, that's been the 2 rural commissioners, as those are the districts that tend to have the most interaction with issues that come before the planning commission, but it is an opportunity open to any 2 of the 5 of us. So to my colleagues, wondering if we can give staff some direction on which commissioners to work with, as they now have some applications to be reviewed and then potentially interviews to do.
I am pleased with the status quo.
We've been pretty successful so far.
Good. I'm fine. So it looks like Commissioners Senega and Buck are interested in serving, and the rest of the board is agreeable to that, so there's some direction for staff. Terrific. Thank you. Any other future assignment requests or other business from commissioners this afternoon? Seeing none, review, I'm not sure that's an assignment, but we'll have you review it just for the
I think
record.
we'll call it an assignment
All right.
for now, that the board committee to review and nominate planning commission candidates will include Commissioner Buck and Commissioner Sanaga.
Great, thank you. Any other business before we adjourn for the day?
Would you like to see a picture of the berries I bought at
Seeing none. We have no need for executive session this afternoon, so at the sound of my gavel, we will be adjourned, and our next regularly scheduled meeting is a week from today, Tuesday, August 6th, here at 9 a.m. in Harris Hall. We are adjourned.